I love a lot of like these movies, fight movies, and I just thought, oh, if there's a way that I could just even fractionally get into it, you know? It's like those are the ones that really just stick with you. It's using the fight as a way to understand life, you know? It's a very unique boxing movie. I guess it's like one of my favorite movies ever. There's just something about the way that that movie explores the life of a fighter that is really kind of haunting. You know, it's a fighter at the end of his career. He's coming to terms with it. It's just an incredible performance by Anthony Quinn. He kind of embodies this, like, he's a very gentle guy also in it. There's a moment where he gets in the elevator after he's just kind of had an interaction with the girl that he likes, but it didn't quite go as he had planned. And he gets in the elevator and he just puts his hands on the railings and he just squeezes them. And you just feel everything that he's feeling, and it's just like, oh. So there was a lot of similarities that I saw in the characters. Fat City in particular, again, it's another side of the boxing world that you don't really see. The term is like ham and eggers. People just boxing just to make enough money to get their food. The relationship between the two of them, Stacy Keach, Susan Tyrrell, is complicated. There's a scene where she makes him a steak and he goes to pour the ketchup on the steak and it just spills all over the table. Oh my God. Everything that's loaded in that moment, everything that's happening in his life is in that move. Another one that was just like in my head, you know. Jeff Bridges is amazing in it. It's just, there's a real chemistry experiment going on. It's touching on all of the things that you would think of when you see these movies, but with just these like deep relationships in there.
Before you can get rolling, your life makes a beeline for the drain.
So Rocky III was shot by Bill Butler, who also shot Jaws. Amazing cinematographer. I was with Maceo and we were coloring, I think, The Curse. We walked into the kitchen and Rocky III was on TV. And we both just stood there. This looks awesome. Like, it looks awesome. You know, just the way that it's shot, everything about it. Then I just went back and I rewatched it, and there's something really special about Rocky III. And Rocky 1, he loses, but he wins. In Rocky 3, he loses. There's no upside. He suffers true loss, and he has to re-find his meaning in life. That's a wild story. That one in particular was very meaningful for this movie. I liked the sentiment of somebody at the top having to kind of reimagine their lives to win in some way. The win's a little different in Smashing Machine, but it's a win nonetheless. It's a Wonderful Life in particular, I remember sending Dwayne a clip, and he was, oh my God. Specifically the moment when he's welcoming his brother back home. This is the moment where they're supposed to hand off the baton, and then somebody says to him, you hear the great news? He got the big job. And he realizes, oh, so I'm gonna have to stay, and he's gonna go. And you just see him destroyed. It's the most subtle performance by Jimmy Stewart, but he's destroyed and he kind of is standing there. And in one shot, the camera pans with him as he rejoins the group of people. And in that pan, he turns that deep pain and sadness into a performative happiness for other people. And I'm like, that's Mark Kerr. I said, that is him all the time when he's out there. And then the other thing is it's a Wonderful Life, like, the thing that changes is his perspective on life. His life is the same. Deeply, he's able to see a whole new side of the world that he was blind to because of his own pursuit of whatever it was. Yes, stuff happens, but nothing changes except for his perspective. At the end, even though you've gone through a lot of emotion, you leave feeling very good.
Yeah.
And that was something I also wanted to kind of keep in mind.
Please! I want to live again!
Sherman's March. That's such a personal movie. Literally, it's a guy filming his life. And it's the way that he places himself in the scenes and where he is in relationship to certain characters, how background actors move through it, because it's real. Maceo and I watched that a lot, specifically for the times he chose to zoom in on things and when he would zoom out. And it was really like structurally like, okay, how does he move through the world? And we can learn from that because it's so point of view oriented. And I wanted to root people in a point of view in the movie. How do we take these moments when you're so close to somebody in a car? Literally like panning into him sleeping, like basically came directly from like Sherman's March, you know? Again, it's a movie about one thing that's about another, and you learn through the process of experience, and I think that that's all really important. It feels like something you remember, even though you've never experienced it. There's just so many moments in War Room that are just like, you kind of can't believe that they're there to see those things. It was shot on 16mm, and again, there's something about the quality of the film. It's elevated in a way by that, but then at the same time, like, the camera is able to move in certain ways. You can really back into corners with a 16mm camera because it can really sit on your shoulder. You can move around and see things that you normally wouldn't, you know, with another camera. And it just gives you a freedom of motion, but it's also because it's on your shoulder, it's orienting you to a person watching something. It's basically just saying, you're in the room. That's it. You are there, you're watching it, you're experiencing it. Obviously, they're not going to punch each other in the face, so you have to block it in a way where it looks like they are. But I still wanted it to feel like they actually were punching each other in the face. So if I had just cut, you would think, oh, okay, he's cutting to hide the trick. But if you start here and you see them this way, and the camera runs around to get a better shot, and then when it comes up, that's when he gets punched. You instantly aren't even thinking about what we just did. So it's a way to kind of use that style to kind of work towards your advantage of just getting people to buy into it, you know? I wanted you to have the point of view of these people trying to film it. How successful were they? How close could they get? We don't have front row seats. You got to get your access. In Bloodsport, there were these moments of like reality that just kind of like hit you off guard. I remember as a kid, that movie just being the most violent movie that you could think of. And I was like, let's watch it and see because just to like refresh ourselves. I wanted it to kind of have that vibe a little bit of like, oh my God, the fights are really intense in this movie. If a kid found, you see the crazy fights in that, like just that element of like discovering it on TBS, you know? This world at this time, MMA was like that. It was banned in the United States. You could only find it in different places. You had to go to Japan where it was respected. And so there was this element of kind of taboo to it. I went and saw a UFC fight in 2002. And before that, you would just find these like VHS tapes that were like banned in the US. And that was the tape you would find, and you'd see all this stuff. Something will bleed into us, pun intended, you know, as we get into the making of it.
You taught me using any technique that works. Never to limit myself to one style. To keep an open mind.
What?
To honor you, Shidoshi.
The original Smash Machine documentary. This was going to be a conversation with that. I thought, I wish I was there. What could I do with all of the tools that I have at my disposal? Hindsight, music, different cameras. What can I do to deepen that? Where can I go into rooms that he couldn't get into? Pay homage to it, but then try to make something else, you know, and like through performance you can change things, and through sound and score. It really let me into who Mark was as a person. And I just thought, okay, I need to work with this in some way to get access to it. They were following Mark. That's what his life was like. That's an invaluable thing to have, to see. I really wanted the movie to feel like time travel. I wanted it to feel like you were really there. I'm obsessed with realism in movies, and I want to figure out a way to make something not real in front of the camera feel real. I wanted it to feel like, oh, this is a memory of mine. This never happened to me, but yet I feel like it did, you know?